Welcome to another episode of Markets Dawn Europe, an audio podcast on financial markets for European-based professionals. A minimalistic solution to the information overload in mainstream and social media. This is what you need to know today.
Morning. Bond markets remain this week's focus, as the correction in prices during October continues to push yields higher, with 10-year treasuries hitting a 3-month high at 4.21%, as traders price in a soft landing for the US economy. The catalysts for this bond sell-off are a less dovish Fed after the recent employment data and investors hedging ahead of the election, with Trump's odds improving. Bond yields in the UK, Germany, and other Eurozone countries also shifted higher, with gilts yielding 4.17%, Bunds 2.32, and BTPs 3.55. At the IMF and World Bank annual meeting in the US yesterday, the IMF cut its growth forecast for Germany, and now expects a spot 2% contraction for this year, as Germany becomes the weakest economy in the Eurozone and other G7 member countries. The IMF also reduced Germany's expansion estimate for 2025 to plus spot 8%. The Eurozone is expected to grow by spot 8% in 2024. Also, ECB policymakers, in particular the heads of the central banks of France, Portugal, and Finland, expressed concerns over too low inflation in the Euro bloc, triggered by weak economic conditions and a still restrictive level of interest rates. Eurozone inflation surprised last month, with a low 1.7% reading. Traders are pricing in 135 basis points of ECB rate cuts by the end of next year. Stocks ended little changed on Wall Street, ahead of today's earnings announcement, and with the rise in bond yields on the focus. General Electric shares fell 9% on Tuesday, despite beating quarterly sales and earnings estimates, and raising this year's profit forecast, hit by persistent supply constraints that impacted operations at its jet engine unit. GE is still 73% higher year to date. In IPOs today, government-owned Tokyo Metro, one of the capital's two major underground operators, carrying 6.5 million passengers every day, raised $2.3 billion, making it the biggest listing in Japan in 6 years. Shares were priced at 1,200 yens, the top of the guidance range, and rallied 45% on the debut, for a $6.2 billion market cap. In deals, French investment firm Wendel is taking control of US middle-market private lender, Monroe Capital, for $1.1 billion. In business news, HSBC Holdings is launching a significant global restructuring that will involve splitting the group into East and West operations and simplifying its structure into 4 main divisions. Shares are up 10% this year. In new bond issues, Italy placed €10 billion of 7-year BTPs rated BBB at a 3.20% yield, or 103 basis over Bunds. It also tapped a 30-year bond for a total of €3 billion, attracting strong investor demand. Italy's 10-year sovereign yield spread to Bunds has narrowed by 43 basis this year. The Bank of Canada holds a policy meeting, with analysts expecting a 50 basis cut to 3.75% and traders pricing in a 91% chance for a similar cut. Also, the Fed issues its Beige Book. Russia is hosting this year's BRICS summit in the city of Kazan, with more than 20 heads of state attending. Today's the most active day of the week regarding earnings announcements, with Tesla after the close, Coca-Cola, IBM, Boeing, AT&T, Iberdrola, and Heineken reporting results. Roche issues a sales update. Finally, it's a light day on the data front, with Eurozone consumer confidence and US existing home and mortgage figures. Thanks for your time, see you tomorrow.
Visit laconicbriefs.com to subscribe to our newsletter, including this audio podcast with an extended script if you prefer to read, plus performance tables and charts, all in one place. Delivered straight to your inbox every morning, Monday to Friday.